So we're here with Tim Ringgold, who is a music therapist. He spent the past 11 years in hospitals and treatment centers helping people to reduce pain and relieve stress. Tim has given over 80 talks nationally and internationally on the subject, including the very first TED Talk on music therapy, which is super exciting. And he shared the stage with top thought leaders and researchers on how music affects the brain. So, Tim, welcome. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Lori. It's great to be here.
Yeah, and I'm going to hand over the stage to you because I know that you have a lot to tell us and show us and maybe even sing for us, I hope.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to do something on my end here that I should have done 10 seconds ago, which is turn off my screensaver. And so technology.
Yes, love it, love it, love it. And at the same time, sometimes it can be super frustrating. So yeah.
Absolutely. As a stressor, which we'll be talking about today, technology can be one of them. So.
Right.
All right, cool. So for those of you watching and listening right now, it's nice to be with you. And for the next several moments, I want you to either tap, snap, or clap along with me. Okay, ready? Here we go. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Won't you stand? Stand by me, stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Whoa, stand by me. Won't you stand? Stand by me, stand by me, stand by me. Jazz hands, jazz hands, jazz hands. All right, very good. Thank you for playing along with me. So if we were in a big room together, we'd all be able to see each other, we'd hear each other, we would feel the energy together, but we're in this kind of like isolated experience, connecting remotely. But I'm curious if while you were tapping, snapping, or clapping along, did you just automatically start to either sing the song in your head? Maybe you started humming along with the melody, or maybe you even started singing the lyrics just spontaneously. And if we were all in a room and I asked you to raise your hand, you'd see a tremendous majority of the room would raise their hand, even though I didn't ask anybody to use their voice, because God forbid you ask people to use their voice. They're like, stress, anxiety immediately, right? But the reason I make this point is that music is it's this effervescent, like innate thing inside of us that actually wants to come out all by itself. And in our culture, we actually teach several myths, which we're going to kind of destroy in the presentation today. And one of them is that like music requires talent. Big myth. Most people would say music requires talent. Yeah. So no, all humans are rhythm machines. So from the cellular level to the organs to the systems, your body runs on rhythm. So much of our body runs on rhythm, we don't even realize it. And so rhythm is really the fundamental organizing principle of everything that's going on in your body at the same time. That's why it all works, because it's working in rhythm with itself. It's also the fundamental organizing principle of music. So we're going to kind of get into how musical humans really are today so that you feel a new freedom to express music that is inside your body. Okay. So I'm going to share some slides with you and we're going to kind of jump in and have some fun. Let's see. That looks like the right one. Oh, I wonder. All right. Let's see, just to be clear. Lori, give me a thumbs up if you see a big title slide. Okay, great. Reach for music. How to use music to relieve stress. Here we go. So there's this fundamental phrase that we use in the music therapy community, which is that rhythm is the energizer and the organizer. The Dr. E. Thayer Gaston is one of the founders of the field of music therapy. And he kind of touched on this point in his lectures and in his textbooks, but we all know this to be true already because we have the Energizer Bunny. It is not a coincidence that the Energizer Bunny is holding a drum and playing a drum. And this ad was so good, and I'm old enough to remember when it came out the first time. The ad's so good, the ad keeps going and going and going. Now, for most of us, the way we relate to music is through an entertainment lens. Unless you go to a mega church and this is your Sunday morning service at your mega church, most of us are used to going to concerts, buying music, whether it was vinyl or 8-track or cassette or CD. Now, Lord knows what it is. It's just zeros and ones, right? But we think of it in an entertainment context, or we think of it in an educational context, where we're going to take lessons, we're going to learn about music, we're going to learn how to perform music. And that is very much work, my friends. Now, in this particular slide, it's very clear to me that this professor actually can't hear. Because if you put 9 recorders into the mouths of anyone, the sound that they produce would not make anyone smile. So I'm very clear that this was a staged picture, or he's deaf, folks. He's deaf. Okay, that's not the point of this slide at all. The other point of this slide is that there's 2 guys in the back row, which means clearly one of them has a crush on someone in class and the other one's his wingman and he's there for moral support. And if we were in a group together, we would actually have a debate and a show of hands as to whether or not it's the girl that the guy in the middle is sitting right in front of, the girl in the black dress. Clearly it's her. It's obviously not the one to his left, because there's no way he'd actually sit in the same row. So we've got to have some fun with these slides. All right. So the point of this is to say that most of us think about music traditionally in an entertainment or an educational context, but there's really this third context, which is music is a therapeutic tool. And this is my colleague, Lisa Jackert, who's a board certified music therapist working with a client. And if you think about it, this is really the first way that music has been used throughout history. And we all use music therapeutically. This is not new to anybody, because if you've ever made one of these, i.e. playlist, or you made one of these, i.e. blank CD, or you made one of these, i.e. mixtapes. Come on, that was my generation. You've prescribed yourself music. And if we were in a big room, I'd ask the room, I'd say, what were the reasons? Why did you make the playlist? Why did you make the blank CD or the mixtape? Other than if it was greatest hits from a single artist, was there a reason or a purpose for it? And people all the time, I work out to it, or I commute to it, or I road trip to it, I study to it, clean the house to it. Might have a blues or a broken heart playlist, or an angry chick playlist, or an angry dude playlist. I have an angry playlist for when I have to do home repair, because I hate doing home repair, and it's inevitable that I'm going to get angry while I'm doing the home repair, because I'm already angry that I have to do it in the first place. And then of course something's going to happen during the process where I'm all steamed anyway. So I always listen to heavy music when I'm doing home repair. That's what works for me. That's what gets me through. So we know this to be true in our own experience, just as human beings. Now, the field of music therapy is an allied health field where we've really looked at the science of music and how music affects the brain and the body. And we publish research on it in journals around the world. These are the 5 journals that the most amount of research is published in. This is just a quick bibliography of some of the source material where all the things that are coming out of my mouth came from, just to show you that music therapy is an evidence-based practice. But this slide is probably, the one that is more resonant for most people. So that's my daughter, Bella. And in 2009, my daughter was born in 2009 and died in 2010 from a rare fatal childhood disease called epidermolysis bullosa, or EB for short. EB is a very unique, bizarre disease where your body fails to produce one protein, just one. That one protein happens to be the Velcro that connects your layers of skin to each other and to the body itself. Think of like sod. When someone rolls out sod, like fresh grass, it's got the grass, but the roots aren't connected to the earth yet, right? It's just kind of floating on top of the dirt. And it takes some time for those roots to go down and anchor that grass. And if you've ever watched a sporting event where they had to lay out a bunch of sod really quickly and then play the event, and it gets all tore up real quick because those roots weren't connected, that's the disease EB in a nutshell. So the skin is essentially floating on her body, and it didn't just affect her skin on the outside. Her version of the disease affected her entire GI tract. So her mouth, her throat, her stomach, her intestines, all the way out. No cure, fatal in childhood. Kids die from either secondary infections because of all those open wounds. Because if you bump into her or you rub her skin the wrong way, it just peels right off, or it separates into, and body fluid goes into the gap, and you get these crazy blisters, which of course then break down into open wounds. They also die of malnutrition because their body can't get enough calories to heal all that skin and to grow and develop appropriately. Or they're either unlucky or lucky enough, depending on how you look at it, to reach their teens, and they develop squamous cell carcinoma, which is skin cancer, because of all the blistering and scarring. But because there's no anchoring fibril, that cancer immediately metastasizes through the body. It's gnarly. Now, if you see all those bandages all over her body, that's because she had blisters there at some point, and we would have to change those bandages either every day or every other day to what was pretty much a 3-hour surgical procedure for my wife and I. And we used music every time. Now, the music did two things for us. One, it helped us as the parents, and one, it helped Bella. So I'll talk about how it helped Bella first. Music as a stimulus in nature, it's very complex. We'll talk about that. And so her brain processing that music can't process a pain signal from her body in the attention center of her brain at the same time, because the attention center of the brain is just like a single operating computer. It can only focus on one thing, and it slides like one of those old slide projectors from one topic to the next at a time. The second thing is that the music would relax my wife and I. And so we were calm parents treating our daughter. And behaviorally, children look to their parents for emotional cues. So calm parents informed a calm baby emotionally. So this isn't just theory for me. This was like field tested. So I feel like if we could use it in some of the most intense settings, and I got to tell you what the quality of those bandage changes were like, man, when we first started reading about EB, we read that bandage changes is some of the most stressful experiences on the family that anyone will ever experience. And we've heard the stories, and I've watched documentaries and seen it be that case for many others. It wasn't that way for us. When we had the music on, the three of us were just really peaceful and just really gentle, really connected, really present. And it was a transformative experience. And I wouldn't have changed, I wouldn't have changed that for the world. Now, the music we were listening to, like lullaby music, nursery, really gentle, simple melody. Not my favorite music to listen to, but that's not the point. In this case, it was calming and soothing for all of us, and it made all the difference. So let's talk a little bit that's kind of a heart-centered story. Let's kind of go up into the head a little bit for those of you who want to learn a little bit more like analytically about it. So how does the music actually work? Well, this is my first like scientific slide of the human brain. And this is, of course, Homer Simpson. And as you can see, Homer Simpson's brain is wired for sleep, donuts, and Duff beer. Our brains are wired for music. I want you to consider that music really, it's not a single thing. Music is kind of like a constellation of elements. They're all happening simultaneously. And if you change any one of those elements, you change the music. And the brain breaks the elements of music up and processes the elements in different places in real time, and then puts it back together into higher level thinking. All of this to just say that music is heavy lifting for the brain. Music is the most complex stimulus in nature, and it requires every subregion of the brain in order to process it. And that's not even if you're playing it, that's just listening. So that's a really handy tool because it's so complex. The brain can't process anything else at the same time in the attention center of the brain. But not only that, when we listen to the music we enjoy or we make music, our brain actually triggers and releases a reward in the form of 3 specific chemicals. The one on the top left is called dopamine. This is a pleasure chemical. It is linked to reward and motivation. When the human brain when the human body eats chocolate, has sex, or listens to music or that it enjoys or makes music, the same part of the brain releases this chemical. That's a very interesting connection because eating chocolate is sugar. We're sugar burners. So that's food. Sex is reproduction. Music. Wow, that's really interesting. Why? Well, that second chemical on the lower left is called oxytocin. That's a chemical that's associated with the feeling of being connected to others. We call it the hug drug or the love drug. When you are making music with others, your brain releases oxytocin and you feel part of the group. Now, as mammals, we're pack animals. So that's very, very crucial to our survival because we're not designed to survive in isolation or on our own. We need to feel connected as humans, and music facilitates that connection. The one on the top right is called prolactin, and that is a chemical that is released. Women will know this. It's part of the letdown reflex when you're breastfeeding. Men, the only way we get to experience prolactin is if we're listening to slow tempo, relaxing music. Our brains will release prolactin. So all of these chemicals increase in production when we make music or we listen to the music we enjoy. Conversely, there's a chemical that our body makes less of that's very important. And this, my friends, is cortisol. Cortisol is associated with the fight or flight response, the stress response in our nervous system. So our adrenals will release cortisol and adrenaline when it's time to outrun a tiger or fight off another tribe. Great. Too much of this, however, is not good for the human body. It's not designed to be pumping through our system chronically. It's only supposed to be used acutely. Now, that's a big difference between having an acute stressor, like an accident, and a chronic stressor, like your job. 2 different things. One, time limited, one, ongoing, right? Acute, chronic. This is really important for physical health and well-being because it is fine and necessary for our bodies to release cortisol. It releases it naturally. It releases it at different amounts throughout the day. It's absolutely vital for survival, but it is not vital to be pumped out in a fight or flight response on a chronic basis because too much of it leads to increased like systemic inflammation within the body. And as a result of that, a decrease in immune system functioning, which is immediately relevant to this community. So what the beauty though is when you make music or you listen to the music you enjoy, your body stops producing cortisol all by itself. It's pretty fascinating. So there's a part of the brain called the reticular activating system. It's basically a joystick that controls what you pay attention to. It acts like the gatekeeper. Like, what information will it let in that you can concentrate on? And what information does it like, nope, I'm not going to process that. For example, right now, you're not listening to your heartbeat. You're not listening to the sound of the blood flowing through your veins. You're not listening to the sound of your breath. You're probably listening to the sound of my voice, hopefully, or whatever Netflix special you have on a second screen that I can't tell. It's okay. It's not that anyone's ever done 2 screening before around here. No, not at all. But the point is that the attention center of your brain is a single operating system. So we can use music to divert our attention from stressful or painful stimuli to pleasurable or relaxing stimuli, being the music. So those were some cute 21st century emojis I was just throwing your way. I'm going to throw you some hieroglyphs here. These are 20th century emojis. Notice how far we've come. So this is the only equation in the whole presentation. Got a little stress, add a little music, end up with a little happiness or a little well-being. Fascinating. Emojis have come a long way, huh? All right. So what do we look at specifically? What is music going to help us do? So I'm going to break it down into 5 things. All right. So first of all, music helps us to stay present. Particularly when we make music, when we listen to music, we can go anywhere, but making music, see, music's time-based. So right now, just kind of clap along or snap along or tap along with me. See if you can follow me. Okay. Doing good? Yeah. So just notice in that little example, you were just trying to keep the beat. And where was your attention? Right here in the present moment, because that's where your body is. Your body's always present, and you have control to varying degrees over multiple things within your body. That's very empowering for the human brain. The brain doesn't like being in situations where it perceives it has no control. What are 2 situations where you have no control? The past and the future. Too much time up in your head, out of your body, frustrated about the past, worrying about the future. It's distressing for the brain, triggers a stress response. You don't have to be anywhere. You know this to be true, because if you've ever lied awake at night, where were you? You were present in bed, but mentally, man, worried about the next day, worried about what happened during the day, right? Maybe worried about what happened during the day is going to impact what's going to happen the next day, right? You're all up in your head, you're out of your body. That's distressing. So when we make music, we're in our body, we're in the present. Mindfulness becomes a byproduct of music making. Next, music allows us to express emotion. Now, express is a word that simply means to squeeze out. So the gentleman, David Duchovny hand model in this picture, if anybody gets that movie reference, we're friends for life. He's squeezing this, I don't know, let's call it an orange. He's expressing the juice. That's what that means. It means to squeeze out. And emotion, I put a little dash in the word emotion to break it up. I want you to think about it in a way that John Bradshaw used to teach way back in the day, and taught my mom this, and my mom passed this on to me, which is that emotion, just think of it like the E stands for energy. And emotion is really energy in motion. Now you think thoughts in your head, but where do you feel your feelings? When you get butterflies, do you get them in your head? No. When someone dumps you, do you have a broken head? No. Right? Know what I'm saying? So when you get mad at somebody, you hot under the head? No. Right? You feel these feelings in your body. They're energy in motion, and they need to get out. And music allows us to express emotion without having to talk about it, because language is a great tool, but sometimes it's a toll booth, because sometimes you need the right words. How many times, I don't know, or you need the right listener. right? You want someone to be able to express verbally what's going on for you. Now, journaling's great, but sometimes you want to talk something out and you go to talk it out with somebody and they take it personally, or they get upset, or they get offended, or they get triggered. And you may or may not say this out loud, but you're like, I can't talk to you about this anymore. And now language has actually disconnected you from someone you love because you don't want to hurt their feelings or make them upset. So you don't go to them anymore. When we listen to music and we hear our story in someone else's tracks, we're like, oh. Whew. And when we play music, we move rhythmically, we express that energy out of our body. And if you've ever been through something traumatic, what they found in research is that it takes experiential, nonverbal modalities, tools, in order to express that energy. Enter drumming or singing. Extremely effective tools to help you get it out. All right. The next thing music allows us to do is be creative, right? So being creative is not the same as being artistic. Being creative is how we solve problems. And all of us are creative. Not all of us are equally artistic, but we're all creative. And we've all solved problems before, and we'll all continue to solve problems till the day we die. That's what relationships are. They're just a series of negotiating and dancing and problem solving, right? And so the more we make music, it actually builds the tools in our brain associated with creativity and particularly frustration tolerance. So we can actually put up with stressful situations longer before getting stressed. And that's a direct result of what it takes to be able to make music. It takes the ability to hang in there, to master just the ability to coordinate your body to something you hear in your head or something you hear in your ears. And if anybody's ever taken music lessons, you know, it can be really frustrating trying to get that scale. Oh, pinky, why are you betraying me again? Oh, I'm trying to move my pinky, but I keep moving my ring finger. That struggle right there is real. But what that's doing is you are building a muscle in your brain. It's the creativity gym. It's like when you go to the regular gym and you work out your muscles in the gym, do the benefits stop when you leave the gym? No, you get the benefits all day. The same is true when you go to the creativity gym. So probably haven't thought about music in that way before, but it actually makes you a better problem solver. Next, now here's a quick joke about this slide. Lori lives in Charlotte or outside of Charlotte, around Charlotte. And I gave a talk in Charlotte one time and I showed this and I was like, what does music help you do? And people at this talk said, I don't eat fried frog legs. And I was like, what? No, it's not what I'm talking about. This dude's relaxing. So this is great that we are having this slide just with the talk we had before we started recording this. So super funny. The one and only time that's ever happened. But music helps us to turn off the stress response in the nervous system. Relaxation turns off the stress response, that fight or flight response. It resets your nervous system faster than any oral medication because your nervous system's like a 3-speed bike. It's got 3 gears. And it's designed to run in its first gear most of the time, which is rest and digest. It's the parasympathetic nervous system. It's the part where we're creative and we're connected. And then when we perceive a threat, a stressor comes along and we change gears into that fight or flight response. That's the sympathetic nervous system taking over. And now we're in react and protect mode, which is appropriate, remember, every once in a while. Not to be stuck in second gear. And then for those of us who have been through something traumatic, there is this third gear, the dorsal vagal reaction, which is when we actually go into freeze mode and we shut down. And sometimes people can get their nervous system gets stuck in one of these second 2 gears. And the goal is to be able to shift back into this first gear. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, and I was taking like biology, we got to the system, like there was the skeletal system, sweet bones, and the muscular system, great muscles, and the digestive system, that's weird. And then there was the nervous system. And it was like, okay, what is that? What are those weird cells with the exons and the dendrites? They look like alien spaceships or something. I didn't learn very much at all about my nervous system growing up. I don't know, maybe you did, but I didn't know that it was essentially a 3-speed bike designed to protect me in different scenarios. That's really interesting, because if you're feeling stuck, like you're always like ready to fight or run, or you're just feeling shut down and you can't get motivated, chances are your nervous system isn't being able to reset itself. And that's why using relaxation music is really helpful for that, because relaxation music has a perceptible beat that's slow, and your nervous system will sync to the beat and will reset. Now, that's different than listening to like meditation music or spa music, where it's like, and it's just droning. That's very different. And if you're in chronic fight or shutdown mode, that's the wrong music to be listening to. That will actually reinforce this state. So probably didn't know that there's this key difference when it comes to relaxation music, is it needs to have a slow tempo, perceptible beat. Your heart rate, your blood pressure, and your nervous system will respond to that and reset. Cool. Lastly, music is just something that helps us connect with something outside of ourselves. And like I said before, as mammals, that is super important for us to be reminded we're not alone. This is a great quote from Dave Grohl, who is the singer in the Foo Fighters. And if we were live, I'd be like, and who was he the drummer for? And I'd wait for someone to go, Nirvana. And I'd be like, yeah, good, well done. So the Foo Fighters played Wembley Stadium in London, like 5 nights at Wembley. It's a like 85,000 person arena. It's gigantic, right? And this is the quote he said about playing there. It's one of the great things about music. You can sing a song to 85,000 people and they'll sing it back for 85,000 different reasons. You know, we see ourselves in other people's music. We hear ourselves. We hear our journey articulated creatively, artistically, beautifully by someone else. And that thread is really important, because throughout human history, music has acted as social glue. It brings us together in times of celebration and in times of suffering. In the United States, we have an entire genre of music that was born from that state of suffering. It's the blues. And so this is a functional tool in the life of a human being from cradle to grave. So I really want you to be thinking more about music as a tool for your well-being, as well as, hey, when we come out of lockdown, better believe I'll be going to concerts. Woo, that'll be great. But in your day-to-day life, how can you reach for it? Now, the outcomes that I just described, if you put them together, they actually create the acronym SOBER. Music helps you to stay present, open up, be creative, escape stressors, and reconnect. And that's the basis of my book. If you or someone you love is struggling with reaching for something, you know, that you don't want to be reaching for, this might be a good tool. It goes into it in more detail and more ways that, you know, you can reach for music to make it through the day. All right. So how do we do this thing called music? Let's get into it. All right. So a couple of ways that we can reach for music. The first one is we can make it. So we started out doing that, right? We were engaging your body. I asked it to either tap, snap, or clap, and many of you automatically hummed or started singing along. When you're listening to the music you enjoy, engage with it. So when I say make music, it doesn't mean go down to the local music store, buy an instrument, go on to YouTube and start learning how to play that instrument. Although you could, cool, but it's not required as far as the brain's concerned for accessing all the benefits that we talked about at the beginning. All you need to do is engage your body with the beat. And the beat can either be music you're listening to in your head, right? You know how you can have music playing in your head without any, you know, speakers going out there. And sometimes it's a song that's stuck. It's called an earworm. It's a terrible, terrible name. Ugh. But that's the term. Now you know. You're welcome. But you know, you have music running, and so great. I've just started drumming along with a song called Reprogram that I was listening to yesterday, right? It's playing along in my head. Now I've got it going and I got my body going and I'm matching to the beat. I can put in my earbuds, right? And God invented earbuds for a reason and headphones so that we could all enjoy our own music in peace. You can put in your earbuds and you can be listening along and jamming along with your body or through speakers, right? And you can be tapping, snapping, clapping, humming, rapping, singing, strumming, scratching, any way you engage your body. Your body's an instrument. Now, you can put an instrument in the way. So, for example, like if you've ever bounced a ball, look at these drummers, look at their hands. If you've ever bounced a ball before, it's the same motion. So you've got the muscle memory already. If you've ever hammered a nail, you can play a frame drum. If you've ever scratched an itch, you can play a shaker. Go ahead, do this with me. Go ahead. Imagine you got an itch right on the back, right there above your collar. Yep. Go ahead, scratch the itch. You're scratching in perfect rhythm. Gotcha. Because our bodies run on rhythm, right? So you have all of this muscle memory already in your body. So you just put an instrument in the way of that, and now you're jamming. So we way overthink what it takes to make music in our culture. So at the beginning, I talked about some of these myths. So one of the myths is that music's hard, expensive, and time-consuming to play. Well, certain types of music are, particularly classical and jazz. Now, if you wanted to invent like the Mount Everest of complex music, you would invent classical music or jazz, particularly classical music. Holy cow. What it takes to perform a symphony is an amount of human effort that is so far beyond. It's like an Olympic athlete, doing their sport at their level. The tens of thousands of hours that it takes all 100 people or 32 people or however many people are in the ensemble, they've all got to get it right at the same time. It's tremendously hard. But for the rest of us mere mortal humans, we can be engaging with music on a daily basis that is not us sitting in an orchestra in front of a bunch of people playing an orchestral instrument with a conductor trying to recreate the great works of Mozart or Beethoven or Stravinsky or anybody like that. That's a very, very, very high level. That would be like saying, if you want to play basketball, the only place you can play is in the NBA. Come on. People play on, street courts all over the country, every day. Nobody thinks twice about that. You don't have to be on the professional bowlers tour to be able to go bowling and have a brew and a pizza and have fun with your friends, right? No, not at all. If you've gone skiing, that's what the Bunny Hill is all about. It's like black diamond or nothing. No, of course not. There's all levels. Just like in music, there's all levels. So to make music, you do not have to be making this professional level music to make it. So take the expectation, yoke off. And if you ever played music before and then you stopped, don't compare yourself to where you were. That's like trying to say at 48, I'm going to run 2 miles around the track the same speed as I did when I was 19. Like, it's not going to happen, right? So we want to break away these expectations and just engage our body in music that we enjoy and have fun. Have fun, right? Not for performance, just for fun. So you can do that today. You will be doing it before the end of this presentation, in fact. All right. Now, I do get every once in a while, people are like, there is no way that I'm going to play an instrument. And I'm like, that's fine. Play your mouth. Come on. Just open your mouth. Here's why opening your mouth is so important. Singing is the most powerful form of music making for affecting your immune system. Fascinating research was done looking at immune system functioning and singing. And what they found was that when people sing, their immune system doubles in production. like it turbocharges the immune system. Fascinating. Like, who would ever put those two things together? That I'm going to sing and it's going to make my immune system function better. Well, leave it to researchers to come up with, like, let's put some peanut butter in this chocolate and see if it tastes good. Oh, that's really good right there. Oh, who knew, right? Or let's put some lemonade and some iced tea together. Why? Because it's good. How do you know? I don't know. Let's try it. Oh, that's really good. So sure enough, the research is in that when we sing, it strengthens our immune system. And here is singing. You ready? All right, that probably just blew your mind. What I was just doing was a really nerdy word called audiating. Audiating is when you sing in your mind. Audiating is when you sing in your mind. It's when you mentally rehearse, if you will, what you're actually singing the track. I just sang the first two lines of Amazing Grace in my head. But my brain, I can tell you this as a professional, as I went into that gear and started to do it, I felt the difference immediately of me having to concentrate on all the notes, all the pitches, right? All the words, without actually having to reproduce it physically. Now, the next step would be humming, right? Now I'm starting to generate tone without opening my mouth. You may or may not have heard that. Zoom may or may not have just picked that up. But in a room full of people, if there's music going on, you can be humming and most people aren't going to figure it out. What it takes the human brain and body to engage the muscles of the body to match tempo if we're drumming, or to match pitch if we're singing, it's heavy lifting for the brain. It requires an entire other section of the brain to actually get involved to coordinate all that movement. So again, really good for bringing us present, and really good, some reason, for our immune system. And then the third way, of course, is, or there's 4 ways. We're going to get 4 ways here. The third way is where I'm just called phonating. Now it would be, now my mouth's open, I'm making tones, but I'm not worried about words, because you remember the melody to a song, but you may forget the lyrics. Don't let that stop you. You can phonate, which is you can sing the melody without worrying about the words. And then, of course, last but not least, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. Now, what I will tell you is that there's like an increasing return on effort. So if you're willing to go all the way up to level 4 and sing words, that is where it's at. That is like the gold standard. If you don't have the courage or the confidence to do that, don't worry about it. Don't drop all the way out. You got level 3, level 2, level 1, where you can be engaging in a way that you still feel comfortable. Okay. Hopefully that's kind of like a new way of thinking about singing, so that you don't have to be like, la, like this guy, in order to be able to get the benefits of it. All right. Now, even having said that, sometimes there are people who are like, hell no, I ain't singing anything ever, and I'm not drumming. You can't put an instrument in front of me. Okay, I get it. All right. So there's music listening. Yes. And this is what we're all PhDs in, music listening. Now, music listening, if you're going to use it for stress relief, there's 2 key things you need to know. One, when you put the music on, don't multitask to it, like we usually do. Now, music's really good for that, right? In fact, it's great. In fact, if you listen to like instrumental music while you're working, it will increase your focus. Absolutely. However, we're talking about stress relief right now. So what you want to create for yourself is what I call the power playlist. It's 3 songs that fire you up. And whenever you feel stress strike, you get up and get away from the keyboard. You put on your headphones or your earbuds, whatever your style is. And you go for a walk. Just walk to the beat and be in the music. The music needs to be the subject matter of your attention. If you can't walk or you're not feeling up to walking, sit on the couch, sit in a recliner, be in the music as if you're at a concert. It would be like the little karaoke balls going boop, 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 right? You're like present. The music is the subject matter of your attention. 3 songs, roughly 10 minutes. Your nervous system will reset, right? Now, the songs, what style? People ask me all the time, what style of music should I listen to? And what they found in research is that we say patient preferred is prescribed, because music is very much subjective. It's like flavor. So you could, love habanero peppers, and you could bring over a blue ribbon winning habanero pepper from the state fair. And I'll be like, you keep that 10 feet away from me, because I hate habanero peppers. So you keep your Celine Dion and your Barbra Streisand far, far away from me, and we'll stay friends. But for some people, they're like lining up to see them in concert. Right? Great. Again, that's why God invented headphones, so you can listen to your Celine Dion all you want in peace. Okay. The next thing is using music is a particular tool called visualization, where we are now, many of you have probably done visualization before, but you may not have done it to music. So there's 2 reasons why that you want to do that, because the music acts as kind of like, we might call it like rhythmic white noise. So it's kind of like a bubble, so that incidental sounds like the, trash truck coming by, they don't take your attention out of the visualization. The second thing is, when you use the slow tempo music specifically, it's slowing down your nervous system automatically. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 deal. So visualization, I imagine that this puppy is visualizing something like this. I might imagine something like this, but we're going to do a little visualization exercise right now called the Relaxation Vacation. And I have led this for thousands of clients over the last probably 12 years. And so what we're going to do is we're going to walk out of the present specifically. Now we're going to leave the present moment, because, sometimes the present is where the stress is, and we just need to peace out for a little while, right? So what I invite you to do for the next several moments is just allow your eyes to close. And just notice your breath. Notice that you're breathing. Notice whether or not you're breathing through your nose or through your mouth. Nothing to change, just notice. Now, the Relaxation Vacation is a walk down memory lane. So I'm going to invite your memory to bring up a vacation that you were on, and a scene from that vacation that was just really awesome, peaceful or exciting, either one. Just a great moment from a vacation. And it really doesn't matter what vacation, just allow your memory bloop, to pop something up, an image, a scene. And allow yourself now to let that scene wrap itself around you in full 3D, like you're there. And look past the people and the objects and start to notice, what colors do you see? Listen to the scene. What sounds do you hear? And as you breathe in, what aromas or scents or smells are in the air? What can you smell? What can you taste? Are there any flavors present? touch? How do your clothes feel against your body? How does the air feel against your skin? And just as you can see and hear and smell and taste and touch everything in this scene in full three-dimensional clarity, notice how being in this scene makes you feel inside. Allow that feeling to become a warm ball of light in your chest. And allow that light to just expand gently through your body, radiating out. So you feel that feeling from your head to your fingertips, all the way down through your legs into your toes. This is your scene. You can come here anytime you want, and you can stay as long as you need. Comforted by that, it's time to say goodbye to the scene for now, knowing you can return anytime you want. So begin to bring your awareness back out and just notice the sound of my guitar and my voice. Notice the feeling of the chair that you're sitting on right now. Take a nice deep breath down into your abdomen and wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe roll your shoulders. Maybe roll your neck, roll your head a little bit. And when you're comfortable, allow your eyes to open. And welcome back. Now, truth be told, that was more like a postcard than a vacation. But hopefully you got a sense of that. And if we were in a big room, I'd kind of do a show of hands thing to just gauge the engagement. It's always fascinating to hear where people went, how much data was in their memory. Like, I didn't realize I could smell things or taste things. And I'm like, yeah, all that data is stored away. You just needed a reason to retrieve it. And music acts as that retrieval, which is why you've had that happen when a song comes on the radio and suddenly like a whole memory, right? Will like open up and you're like, whoa. Yeah, music's like a memory marker for us. So we can use it as a tool. So sometimes we use it to stay in the present moment, and sometimes we use it to escape the present moment. But it's our tool to use as we need. So that relaxation vacation, I used to only do it live in a clinical setting till one patient one night said to me, when I said I didn't have it on CD, she got really mad. It was a cancer patient. She said, how am I going to use that when I need it at 2 a.m.? That really spoke to me. So I recorded it in the studio and now give it away as my gift. Okay, so I'm going to show you in a second how to get it. And what's really cute is I love hearing how people use it. This gal, Cheryl, was at a conference in 2017 and grabbed it and started allowing her kids to go to sleep to it at night. And because you can have it with my voice, or you can just have it instrumental. And then she sent me a letter a year later. And then she sent me a letter 2 years later. And then she posted this on Facebook the following summer of 2020, Aiden's favorite relaxation music, 3 years and counting. So just, to be like, when I was a rocker back in the day, I wanted to get everybody up on their feet. And these days as a music therapist, I want to put everybody to sleep. It's quite a different thing. So here's how you're going to get the relaxation vacation. You are on a screen right now. So you're going to open your browser and you are going to go to myname.com. Okay, we're going to take 2 minutes to do this right now because I know you'll be busy in life and you won't go do this. So we just take 2 minutes and we do it right now. You're just going to open up another browser and you're just going to type in my name, timringgold.com. You're going to see my big bald head and it's going to say reach for music. And then it's going to say, want to take a relaxation vacation? And you're going to say, why, yes, Tim, I would love to, because I haven't taken any other kind of vacation in the last 18 months. So you're going to type in your name, your email address, whatever the code is in that little blue box. You're going to click on grab yours now. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, not the most tech savvy guy out there. I really don't know what happens next. I think what happens next, because we have like way too much technology. I think what happens next, an email comes from me to you. But because of technology, it probably goes in the spam folder or the promotions folder, right? It never makes it. Maybe it'll make it. Maybe it's that lucky one that makes it. But it's probably going to go to one of those other folders and you'll never see it. So if you don't see an email from me within about 5 or 10 minutes of you clicking grab yours now, you'll know it ended up in one of those other folders. You got to go look for it, but it'll be from me. You'll click on the link in the email. It's going to take you to a private page on my website. Please don't share it. And you'll see a download page where you could download the relaxation vacation. You could download the instrumental version, or you could just download my voice without any guitar. They're all there for you, and they're all my gift to you. Okay. So again, do that now, because I know how it works. Yeah, I'll do that later. It's famous last words, right? So a couple of things before I wrap up, some resources for you. If you have a tablet, you have a musical instrument. If you have a phone, you have a musical instrument. They make virtual instruments now on iOS and Android. This last one I just popped up is called Launchpad. It's a DJ thing where all those different things are loops, and they all are in the same time and in the same keys. So there's no wrong notes and there's no out of time beats. You literally can't make a mistake with it. It is so cool. So basically type in, Launchpad for that, or just type in virtual pan flute, virtual dulcimer. There's all kinds of virtual instruments now on tablets. This has been very empowering for a lot of people who have too much anxiety to buy a physical instrument. So grab a virtual instrument and it goes straight into your earbuds so nobody can hear. And you're not having to have all this dexterity. You're literally drawing circles or pressing buttons on the screen. And the sounds are amazing. They sound super high quality. Can't recommend that enough. And I'll just close with this. Listen, sometimes, in life, we got to lean on our family. And sometimes in life, we got to lean on our friends. And sometimes in life, we got to lean on our pets. And let's face it, we're doing it right now. Sometimes in life, we got to lean on technology. Come on, it's the greatest. My dog is named Chewy, by the way. But my mantra is this: I lean on you, you lean on me, and we don't keep score. That's community. And that's what Lori's building right here, because it takes a community. As humans, we're not designed to do this on our own. So don't try. It's not designed that way. So we're going to finish up with a little music. So your job now is to either tap, snap, clap, hum, rap, sing, whatever you want to do. We're going to do Lean on Me together, but we're going to do it together. Okay. So if you're going to tap, snap, or clap, the way that you're going to do that is really simple. I'm going to give you the beat, and then I'm going to literally say it out loud what to do. Right. So it's like, okay. So it'd be like this. It'd be like clap, 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 snap, 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 tap, tap. You get it? Tap. All right, here we go. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Woo! Reach for music, y'all. That's what I got.
That was amazing, Tim. So much fun. And I learned, wow, some really incredible new things about music. I'm a musician myself. It's lifeblood. But yeah, I had no idea about a lot of that stuff. So thank you. And I'm excited to download the your vacation.
Yes. Take a vacation, people. You need one.
Yes. Right. We always need that.
We could all use that. And you don't have to worry about having your COVID card or a mask or just like all the crazy. I'm about to get on a plane next week or in 2 weeks for the first time. And I'm like, whew, strange new world we all live in. Right.
Yeah.
So you can take a vacation from the comfort of your own home.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah. And I'm going to put that link down below our video as well, just in case you didn't go before, but definitely do that. And Tim, thank you again so much. I'm going to have to look up that David Duchovny hand model reference.
Gotcha.
I'm going to look it up because I was like, I've got to know that. But I couldn't figure it out. So,
I'm a fountain of obscure movie quotes and things of that nature. So that one, you're welcome.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for all of your amazing good work. And I'm sure I'll see you again soon.
It's my pleasure. Thanks again for having me, Lori.